Welcome to Inetsupervisor, simplifying the installation of powerful building automation systems. A great way to illustrate this is to show how simple it is to install a complex air handler and VAV configuration with 100% configurable Inetsupervisor controllers. But let's start off showing you why configurable controllers are important. Configurable controllers require zero custom computer code, zero debugging. They're already debugged. Faster controller commissioning, and 100% installation with field personnel, typically at much lower labor rates, and premier performance on all system configurations. Let's first look at the configurable air handler software, the first configurable controller for air handlers in the industry. You see we're looking at a dashboard of relevant information. Just a quick overview. Zone loads, occupancy, cooling, heating, supply fan. But this dashboard also serves to navigate the software. So when you click on zone loads, it takes you to the terminal load page. Occupied takes you to the occupied page. Cooling, heating, supply fan. They've all got their own web pages for configuration. Return fan and economizer too. Let's start off with the zone loads because this is extremely powerful. Currently you see that there's a active zone count of VAVs of 2, and 2 are bound to the system. You see that right there. Tells you what the cooling load is averaged across the system. Well, let's open that up and see how that works. Right now you see that there's a couple of VAVs that are bound. Let's go ahead and remove those and show you the process. First you look for unbound VAVs and you click on the Find Compatible Zones because they're unbound, and here they appear. Add one. It's now being bound to the air handler. Bind the second one to the air handler. There's nothing in the industry that's even close to being that quick and simple. And all of the pertinent information that needs to be transferred between VAVs and air handlers is dashboarded right here. You can see how easy it would be to build a massive VAV system very simply, very quickly. Let's take a look at how you would configure something like the cooling stages. You just click, drag, and drop. It's very simple. It's very intuitive. Here you can see that the cooling start percentage for a terminal load is 5%, or maybe you want the terminal load to start at to be at 25% before the cooling starts. You configure your stages all the way. Here we have 2 stages. You can just click on this and get it all the way up to 6, all the way down to 1. You have your minimum on times and off times, and your delayed times all programmed here. And you can do supply temperature resets for both cooling and heating, and they're very easy to work with. What are you going to reset it against? What's the important variable? Just click from the drop-down menu. Is it going to be terminal load, space temperature, return temperature, space humidity, outdoor temperature? You choose. Just click and configure. Your set points, upper and lower, are here. Your low limits and high limits are here. You can determine whether it's going to be a linear reset or a timed bump reset. More on that in the Inet literature at the Inetsupervisor.com website. But you can see that it's very intuitive. Any competent HVAC technician can easily work with this system. Your hardware inputs, you just click, choose from the drop-down menu of pertinent inputs. These are sensors that are relevant to an air handler. We already have one programmed as a discharge temperature. Let's go and do one as a space temperature. Space CO2. Load the default values. You can customize those values easily enough. We'll show you what that page looks like. Just by clicking, dragging, and dropping on these values here, you can customize your sensor. But for the most part, if you're working with Inetsupervisor.com sensors, then the defaults are just fine. And you do that for any of the inputs. You're telling the inputs what they're going to be measuring, what kind of sensor they're working with. Same thing with your output sensors. Here we have a couple of them already programmed. Digital output 1 is a fan start stop, and you have your same configurability here to the right. You can customize that. And then your analog output is for your modulating fan for your VFD. And you just choose what you want it to do, what the digital output's going to do, what the analog output's going to do based upon how you want to configure it. Just choose from the menu of options. Very easy to work with. Let's take a look now at the VAV software for the configurable controller. You can see that the look of the software is very similar to the air handler unit. You've got variables that are pertinent to VAVs and VVTs, and you get to choose from those from a drop-down menu, just like you did with the drop-down menu on the air handler unit. As for the inputs, outputs work more or less the same as the air handler unit also, just different variables. But what makes it unique is your airflow calibration page. You can click between VAV and VVT, back to VAV, and you have a database of VAVs built into the system of the most prevalent VAV manufacturers. In this case, you're looking at a Titus Aerocross inlet sensor, 12-inch round, and the box size and K factors are automatically imported. Or you could click on a calculator for either and calculate your values and put those in on a customized basis, whatever you choose for your application. Here you have the airflow curve, and along that curve you've got points such as the unoccupied standby flow, the minimized flow set point, heating flow set point, maximum flow set point, nominal flow. All of that is depicted in a graphical manner, so you can actually see what's going on as you're working with the system. Here you can do flow overrides. So when you're doing air balancing, you can choose, do I want it in a minimum box flow position, maximum box flow position, or if you'd rather do it just based upon damper position, you can just say fully open, fully closed, and you can complete your air balancing that way. Thanks again for taking the time to view Inetsupervisor's introductory video to its 100% configurable air handler and VAV controllers. As you can see from the videos, any competent HVAC technician can now install very powerful building automation systems. If you're new to building automation, don't be intimidated. Inetsupervisor is a one-stop shop. You can get controllers of all sizes, you can get computer servers of all sizes with the front-end software that you need embedded directly on them. You've got touchscreen panels, and you've got sensors of all kinds, and you can even get the wire that you need. If you're interested in learning more technical information, please visit the Inetsupervisor.com website, and with a free registration, you can view their entire library of technical videos. Thanks again for viewing this. Take care.